Tip number 3. Corrupt your items with Vow Orbs for additional stats. Corrupting items is a lot less risky in Path of Exile 2 as opposed to PoE 1. It can be a great idea to buy a backup of your cheapest piece of gear and try to corrupt an implicit modifier or socket on them. The odds are basically a coin flip. Perhaps you're using a cheap unique for your build? You can try to get a nice corruption on it without risking too much. Just make sure that failing your corruption does not brick your build. Always have backup gear readily available when taking risks, especially if you're playing solo self-found. And if you're trying to corrupt an item that is worth at least 1 or 2 divine orbs, always use the Omen of Corruption, which you can buy at the currency exchange for around 100 exalted orbs and increase your odds of a W corruption. Take note that all prices mentioned in this video may vary. These were the prices a couple of days ago when recording this footage. Exalted orbs are going down in value a lot, as there is actually no real exalted orb sink in the game. As of January 28th, 2025, a divine sells for 290 exalted orbs and a single chaos orb sells for 7 exalted orbs. Players are starting to price their items for chaos orbs instead of exalted orbs if they're worth less than a divine, and I highly recommend you do the same. On the contrary of magic jewels, corrupting rare jewels can also be very profitable. It's accessible for most players who are in the endgame to buy a couple 10 to 20 exalted jewels with mods that work well for their build and corrupt them for some potential power gains. For example, you can roll 5% chaos resistance, 8 to any attribute, 10% of an elemental resistance, etc. Always make sure the item is finalized before corrupting it. Don't forget to add quality, sockets where possible, and make sure there's no space for mods if it's a rare item. It could also be good practice to try and vow your crappy jewels in hopes of hitting something nice through quote-unquote bricking them.